Hey kids in Facebook land. It's 5 o'clock. It's showtime. Showtime at the Allevi Sutton household. Anybody out there in Facebook land? What did I say? I said 5 o'clock, I think. That's 5:01. I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Okay. Hey, Paula, how are you? Hey. I'm going to wait for a couple of you guys to get on to start this dinner. We're doing chicken marsala, and we are doing a baked spaghetti squash. It's, hey, Dave, it's my husband Avery's recipe. We're going to do that because it's easy. So this dish is actually, this is a one-pan dish again on the stove, except for the zucchini squash is actually going to go in the oven. I'm good, Paula. Tired. I did yard work today and did some mulching and some weeding, so I'm a little tired today. Hey, Erica. So there's, 4 of you? I'm going to wait for like a couple more people, and then we'll get this started. Change this up real fast. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what Judy has to say. Okay. Hey, Mikey. So we're going to be doing chicken marsala, and we're doing a baked spaghetti squash. Tell David I said hello. David, Paula says hi. So I have a small zucchini squash here, okay? I mean, you can get the real big ones, but it's just me tonight, so this actually is going to end up making, like, 2 nights of sides. So it's a yellow zucchini squash, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to cut it in half. You take out the seeds like you do with a pumpkin. You're going to hit it with some olive oil, okay? And, like, let it go around it. And it can go in the pan, that's fine. But you want to get olive oil on here. And then you're going to rub it with your fingers. So, this is not a clean dish, so you're going to get your hands dirty. So we're going to hit that with that and get all this extra oil out. That can go on the bottom of the pan. And the oven is now preheated to 400 degrees. So we're going to pop this and then we'll start the chicken. So let me do this, rinse my... you know what? We're not going to because we're just going to get dirty again. So, I'm going to hit this with a little bit of the Himalayan pink salt, which I told you guys I love. So that's going to go on there. Cracked pepper on each one. And I can't remember if Avery uses garlic salt, but we're going to on this one. Where's the apron if it's messy? I have my Mapine on, so I don't need the apron. A little bit of garlic salt. Done in the oven. Set it on 30 minutes at 400. Okay? So that, I meant to do 2 parts. I'm trying not to. So I'm trying to time this the best that I can with this Marsala, because the Marsala only takes about 20 minutes. So it says, but they always lie. So, thinly cut sliced chicken breasts. So, you can get them in the grocery store already cut, or just get the big chicken breasts and cut them in half. But these are all cleaned and they're dried. I hit them with a paper towel, so they're ready to go. So we have our extra plate over here. This we're going to put on the side. In here is just all-purpose flour, okay? And what I did was I hit it with salt, the Himalayan salt, and I hit it with the cracked pepper. Also, what we're going to need, we'll do that when we make the sauce, because we're going to do the sauce separate. We're going to cook these up first, and we're going to take them out of the pan, and then we're going to start the Marsala sauce and reconstitute everything together. So, my Belvedere and tonic. And I look a mess today because my hair is 6 weeks overdue for a haircut. So, your hands are going to get messy with this too, so you're just going to dredge this chicken in flour. That's what I mean about the apron. Yeah, see, I already got flour on me. So just coat it a couple times. No egg wash. Shake off the extra flour. Dave Hughes, I know you don't like to cook, but this is an easy one for you. Very easy one. Except for the mushrooms, because I know you don't like mushrooms. See, the flour is getting everywhere. So, you're going to dredge this in the flour. And have your clean plate. Because you're going to put that chicken on the side here. And actually, I'm going to turn this oil on real fast. Hold on. So on this side, I have a big saute pan, which has olive oil. So you just want to coat the bottom, so you don't want a lot of it in there, because you're just basically going to sear this. Not really sear, but you're still going to cook it in there, but you don't want it drowning in oil. So we're going to dredge all this chicken in the flour. No, I'm doing the mushrooms, Dave. You're just not going to do the mushrooms at home. But that's the whole part of the Marsala is the mushrooms. But it's still easy. So, dredge the flour. Let's get rid of this. Rinse off my hands. Then I'm going to run through all the ingredients you guys are going to need. Okay. I'm trying to kill a little bit of time because this spaghetti squash takes about 30 minutes. So in the frying pan, I'm going to say it's probably about, 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Here's our chicken. We're going to put that aside over here. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. You can, depending on how big your pan is, hey Elena, depending on how big your pan is, I coated the bottom, I put 1 tablespoon of butter in there. So that's melting up, that's going to heat up. So what you're going to eat for this, besides the chicken, is, what I did was I combined. So I have baby portobellos here, and I have regular white mushrooms, and this is about 1.5 cups of each. I love mushrooms, so I can use a pint of mushrooms one night. So I split it up, so there's a combination. What I have in here is actually 1 really large shallot that I cut in half, and I chop that down. That's actually going to go into the Marsala sauce. And we're going to say I've got about 2 tablespoons of flat leaf parsley, fresh parsley that was that I got the other day. You need salt and pepper, and this calls for thyme. You can use thyme, whatever, but herbs de Provence is a combination of thyme and oregano. It's everything. It's a staple. It's like a glorified Italian seasoning. So we're going to put that in there as well. But if you guys don't have this, just use thyme, or don't use it at all, or use oregano. I'll take chicken Milanese. Yeah, you can do chicken Milanese. Okay. Let me change this real fast. Is the music too loud, guys? Let me know. I can hear the oil sizzling. let's go to... There we go. Go back to Ella. So the oil is sizzling. Let me check on that. Okay. So that's frying up. So these are, like I said, these are the ingredients you're going to need. The mushrooms. Oh, and most important, Marsala wine. This was like $7 in the liquor store. But this comes very useful. You can use this for anything, not just for Marsala. I mean, you can put it in anything you want. And over by the stove, you'll see I have some butter as well and some cornstarch because we're going to thicken up the sauce for the Marsala, okay? That spaghetti squash is going. So we're going to bring you over here. Okay. So we've got our chicken. This is sizzling. So I have it on about 4, which is like medium, between low and medium. So in this chicken goes. And because this pan's big, I can fit all 5 of these in here. But otherwise, you kind of want to do these in separate batches. And you're going to go through a lot of plates because you need a plate for the raw chicken, a plate for the flour chicken, and then a plate for the chicken once it's cooked to pull it off the stove. So what actually we're just going to do is we're going to wash this one off. Because that just had the flour on it. So we're going to use that for the other chicken. So this is sizzling. And if you want, I mean, you can, I do this, not all the time, but just a little bit of the salt and the cracked pepper while the chicken is cooking. And this is going to be about 4 minutes on either side. So I hope you guys can hang in because the fun part is when we make the Marsala. Because we're going to use this pan the chicken cooked in because that's where all the fun stuff is after the chicken's cooked. But we're also... You don't have to cook it all the way if you don't want to because it's going to go back into the Marsala and it's going to cook again. Hey, Anita. We're making chicken Marsala, Anita. So, and a spaghetti squash, a baked spaghetti squash that's in the oven now. I'm just going to flip this chicken. I mean, it does have to cook, but we'll let it cook on that side, then we'll flip it again. Let that cook for a couple minutes. We'll go back over here for you guys who are just joining. Like I said, we are doing the homemade chicken Marsala. So what you need for that is you can get the already cut thin fillets, which are the cutlets, or just the large breasts, and cut them in half. And then you would pound them at that point. Those were thin, so you didn't have to pound them with the meat tenderizer. Flour and salt and pepper and garlic salt went in the flour because we dredged them before we put them in the frying pan. Then for the sauce, I have, let's say 3 cups totally. So it's half of portobello and half of white mushrooms, a half of a very large shallot, which is diced down, and about, what did I say? Let's say 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh parsley. This is all for the sauce. And then herbs de Provence, just a little bit of that, because people do put thyme, fresh thyme, or dried thyme in their Marsala sauce. I don't, but this has a combination of everything, so this will add a little bit of a hint of flavor to it. And your olive oil, okay? And I turn this real fast. Just like I said, these are going to cook more in the sauce too, but for now, usually about 4 to 5 minutes on either side of the chicken. And then the spaghetti squash, you're getting great at this. I'm trying. I'm just waiting for some TV show to pick me up. I know my hair looks horrible too. Look at all the gray. This is 6 weeks of growth of no haircut and gray hair. In the oven is the spaghetti squash, which you can get at the grocery store. You can get a big one. I got a small one because it's just me. So basically what we did is we preheated the oven to 400, and you scoop out the seeds from the spaghetti squash. And this is actually Avery's recipe. It's actually very good, and it's literally 4 ingredients, and it's done. You cut it in half, scoop out the seeds. You rub it with olive oil. Thank you, Anita. I'm trying. Not bad for 48. Rub it with olive oil. Drain all the extra olive oil out and let it sit in the bottom of the pan. And then hit it with salt and pepper and garlic salt and rub it in. Throw it in the oven 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you check it. If it has to go back in, it goes back in. So right now, that's in the oven. Simple thing. Let me flip this chicken because it's almost done. And then we're going to start on the sauce. Remember, that chicken's about 4 to 5 minutes on each side, and it's on about 4 on my stove, or medium, or whatever you guys have. We'll take the chicken out, we'll plate that, and then we'll start the marsala sauce. And hopefully by that time, the spaghetti squash should be almost done. If I have to pop back on for like 15 minutes and finish up, we'll do that, and we'll plate it, and we'll let you guys get on your way. It's what, 5:15 now? And I have my Belvedere and tonic. We're not going to do a salad. I'm getting tired of salads. I've had a salad every night this week and almost every other day for lunch. So let's go take a look at this chicken. So that's the chicken. So they were thinner sliced, but they are plumping up a little bit. But like I said, too, you can buy the large breasts and cut them in half and then pound them yourself. So they're getting a nice brown crust on them, and that's what we want. Yeah. So a few more minutes on these. And then we're good to go. We'll pull these out, and we'll start the sauce for the marsala. And let's look at this spaghetti squash. That's going good. And this spaghetti squash actually might not take as long because it's a smaller piece instead of the larger ones that I usually do. So we got this stuff. I'm going to bring all this actually over here because we're going to need all of it in about 2 minutes. Masala. Like I said, that extra butter that I put on the side there, we'll add that towards the end because we're going to put that and a little bit of cornstarch just to thicken up the sauce for the marsala. Because otherwise it's just going to, it'll make a little bit of a thickness just by it being in with the chicken, but other than that, you have to, you got to thicken up the sauce. So let's pull this chicken off. You guys can see. Yeah, see, this is like perfect. Because it's going to go back in that sauce after we make it. So you're just going to pull these off. Turn this down to low. That chicken's going there. Get your wooden spoon and just scrape off because you're going to have some pieces that are stuck to the bottom with the olive oil. And Diesel's at my feet again, of course, because he smells food. So that's on low now. So what we're going to do is we are going to add, pump it up to 2. We're going to add these shallots, okay? So the shallots are going in. And we're going to pump the heat back up on this. So the shallots are going in. So let them go for a little bit. One fell on the floor. Diesel will get that later, I'm sure. So the shallots are going in. And as you know, just keep scraping the bottom think Diesel is hungry. No, Diesel just ate. I fed him before. So the shallots are cooking. And the spaghetti squash says 15 minutes. So we may or may not have to pop back on after I make this sauce. But hopefully we won't if you guys can hang on. So the shallots are cooking. And you can see all of the darker stuff is the... Sorry, guys. All the darker stuff is the stuff from the chicken that was in there. So you want all that goodness in there because there's flavor in there. I dropped my mapine. Okay, so those are in there now. And then, like I said, we've got 3 cups of mushrooms. Give or take, you can use as many mushrooms as you want. I like a lot of mushrooms. So I've got, let's say, 1.5 cups of just white mushrooms. They're going to go in there. 1.5 cups of portobellos, but you can use anything you want. You can use oyster mushrooms. You can use shiitakes. I mean, you know, it all depends on... Oh, Stanton's on. Hey, Stanton. So we're going to let these fry up. I'm going to pump that up a little bit. So those are going to saute. I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter. So that's going to go, this spaghetti squash has about 12 minutes. None for you. I know, Dave, you hate mushrooms. The spaghetti squash has about another 12 minutes, but it's smaller, so hopefully it'll be done at that point, but give or take a few minutes. But make sure these mushrooms are all coated. See, they got to be coated with just a little bit of... I keep dropping this damn towel. And I'm going to grab some chicken stock, too, actually, out of the fridge. Because we will add that, too. And like I said, we have our cornstarch over here. Our marsala we're done with the olive oil. So those are going to get nice and tender. Hey, Eleanor. So they're getting nice and tender. But you got to keep mixing them because you want them to be evenly cooked. So they're in there now. They're becoming nice and tender with the shallots. And now what we're going to do is the herbs de Provence that I told you guys about. Because people put thyme in here, they put oregano, whatever. The herbs de Provence is a combination of a lot of different herbs, but it's not overpowering. So we're going to add, let's say, a teaspoon of that, okay, in there. So that's done. This won't fit in the spice rack. No. So it's going to go back up here. We're going to mix all that around. And it's already starting to get a little bit of a glaze to it, even though that I haven't added the marsala or the cornstarch. And you guys don't have to add cornstarch. You don't have to add... You can add flour, whatever, but I like adding the cornstarch to it. Okay, so that's going. So 10 minutes on this spaghetti squash, which is in the oven with salt, pepper, garlic salt, olive oil, baking at 400 for 30 minutes. So remember that flat leaf parsley? It's about 2 to 3 tablespoons. I'm going to take half of that. That's going in there. I'm not a big fan of cooking on electric stoves. I love gas stoves, but right now, for now, this is fine. We'd have to put a gas line in, or a gas tank outside, propane tank, and I'm not doing that. My kitchen works perfectly fine for that. I love my kitchen. It's big and open. So, we're doing that. That I'm going to pump down to low. Let's see. There's your favorite friend, guys. There's Diesel. Chilling out. So now we're going to add in this marsala. We've got this on 2. Just going to pump it up to, pumping it like 4 between low and medium. You don't have to measure, but I will measure for you guys. You don't have to, depending on how much you have. Because I like a lot of sauce. So that's 1 cup of marsala. We're going to do 1.5 cups, actually, of marsala. Okay? Pump that up to like 6 now. Because we want that to bubble. And then we'll add chicken stock. And we'll thicken up the sauce. The spaghetti squash, 7.5 minutes. So we're actually on time, guys. It's going to be a very simple, easy dinner. So that's on 6. Hey, Allison. Yes, Diesel's chilling on the sofa over there. As usual. So did anyone get their stimulus checks? I got mine yesterday, and John Moore got his yesterday. I don't know if anybody else did. But it was a nice surprise. I wasn't expecting it this early. But it did come in, so I don't know if anybody else got it. Which helps out because we're still waiting on unemployment. I tried doing my second set of weeks, and it would take me so far, and then error message. So I have to wait till later to do it, but, you know, hopefully they'll send out that first 2 weeks within a week. Has anyone else had issues with the unemployment? Like, has anyone got their unemployment check yet? See, look, now it's bubbling. This is what you want it to do. Like roaring bubble. Because you want to get all that alcohol out of there. You'll still have the flavor, but you won't have the flavor of raw alcohol. Which is, you know, a good thing. Unless it's vodka. So that's going. I just splashed myself. So 6 minutes on this spaghetti squash. This is actually, I think, going to work out perfect for us time-wise. Yes, it's slow. Just got the first. Oh, so you actually got your first check from unemployment. When did you file your weeks in? Like, you know, you apply and then they tell you, oh, you know, come back and do your weeks. Because I did my weeks, my first 2 weeks on the 30th of March. So I'm still waiting. It still says pending for me. And for everybody else, I guess, too. And then it told me I could file again today for the last 2 weeks. So just let me know when you, what date that you actually did your 2 weeks. So I can kind of base it time-wise. So this is going. This marsala is going. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to add some of my, you know I love my white and black cracked pepper. So that's going in there. And this is the Himalayan salt. A couple little turns of that. It's like a rumbling boil now. We're going to add in literally like, it's probably going to be about, let's see, we still have this. We'll do a half a cup of chicken stock. Let that boil back up again because that'll also start it. Okay, so I'm like a week. Okay, so I filed on the 15th, so I'm like a week behind you. Okay. Hey, Chuck Wilson. So we added a little bit of chicken stock now because that was coming. So that's all the mushrooms, the marsala wine, the shallots. We added a little bit of chicken stock just to make a little extra sauce. That's going to bubble some more. Then we're going to add the cornstarch to thicken it up, and then we'll throw the chicken in, and we'll do the spaghetti squash, and then we'll be like good to go. So, small bowl, ladle, where are my ladles? Okay, small ladle. So get some of this sauce that's in here. Doesn't matter if you get a mushroom or two, I always do anyway. Just want to do that. Cornstarch. I mean, I'm good with eyeing stuff, so that's about, a tablespoon of cornstarch. We want to mix that in. I'm going to add a little bit more. This is instead of using flour. You guys can use flour, but I don't all the time. I mean, unless you're going to make like a roux, but so we're going to say about a tablespoon and a half of cornstarch. So that's like, it's almost like it's not real thick, but it's thick enough. That's going there immediately. Grab your whisk. Start working that around. And you'll see that it already thickened up, which means I'm going to have to add a little bit more chicken stock. To have the marsala flavor, so the chicken stock is going to be fine to add more. I'm going to turn this down to low at this point. Okay? I'm going to show you this in 2 seconds. Then we'll add the chicken. A little more stock. And the stock isn't going to change the flavor, really, because it's flavored. It's just going to change the consistency. So if you don't want this real thick, add less cornstarch or add less, add more chicken stock. So what am I drinking? I'm drinking Belvedere and tonic right here. Okay. So here's the consistency, just so you guys can see what that cornstarch did. Flour's going to do the same thing. So it's a thicker, almost like demi-glaze kind of. That's good about this, so you can actually put this over pasta. If you want the marsala over pasta, you don't have to. I'm not doing pasta because I'm still getting I'm a little thick around here still, so I'm trying not to do pasta. So now our chicken, which remember guys, we did earlier, okay? As it's dripping oil all over my floor. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry. There was juice left in that dish. Put that on the floor there so Diesel doesn't get that. So the chicken that we did earlier and we set aside, it's pretty much cooked. But this is going in here. And that's the timer going off now for the spaghetti squash. So we're going to check on that. turn that off. I'm going to check on this spaghetti squash. Let me just wipe this up real fast. Sorry, guys. So now mix this around. Let that sauce get in there. And you know, I'm still going to add a little bit more stock. And if you guys reheat this for another night, same thing. You know, just reconstitute it by adding more chicken stock to it. So that's going to go for a little bit. We're going to leave that on 2. Because that will cook. And I'm actually going to cover this. You don't have to, but I'm going to. That's the wrong one for that. Just cover that on low. Low to 2 is what I have it on. And we're going to pull out this spaghetti squash. And we'll show you how to get that done. And that's got to go in the washer. Let's pull out the spaghetti squash. Turn that down. So here's our spaghetti squash. I'm going to show you over here. It's actually good. So there's our baked spaghetti squash. I'm going to show you what I do with it. This is Avery's recipe, remember that, you know, I'm copying. You're going to drain out that extra oil. We don't want that. Drain that out. You're going to need a separate bowl on the side. So we'll actually use this because it's clear, then you can see it. And all you're going to do, move this over so you guys can see. You're going to hold this, and you're going to take your fork it's becoming spaghetti. And you're just going to keep scraping it. Actually, we forgot one of those seeds. So keep scraping this. Take your fork. It's like spaghetti now. So that's going to go in there. Keep adding, you know. You'd be surprised how much this actually makes, believe it or not. And it's actually good cold, too. Like, you don't have to have it warm. It's actually the next day you can have this cold, and it's like a little salad, you know? But for now, I mean, I have people have had, they've actually put tomato sauce on it, which actually is not bad, to tell you the truth, but I like it just like this with the salt and pepper, garlic salt, and the oil. This can go in the trash. Work on the next one here. And just get as much of it as you can before you get to the part. Look, another seed. I thought I got all these damn seeds out. So keep scraping that. Literally, it literally becomes spaghetti. Look at all this. And then we're going to plate this marsala, and then you guys can see how that turned out. It's on low, still sauteing after I took out the compost. No compost here, Anita. My sister has that in PA, that whole compost thing. I'm going to try and get as much of this out as I can, because I will make this last for 2 days. And then we're good to go. Beautiful, yes, beautiful spring dish, Joanne. So that. And this is hot as Hades, so we're going to throw that out. Get rid of this. Then we're going to show you this marsala and plate it. So that can sit, and actually, you know, you can just reheat this in the microwave when you guys are ready to serve it if you make it earlier during the day or whatever you want to do. Let's just taste this just to see if I need to add any, oh my god, no, it's perfect. Perfect. Alright. Marsala's looking good, kids, so we're going to plate that. I'm going to show you. See? There's our marsala, second time around. So we're going to plate this. Give me 2 seconds. We're going to need that. Turn that off. Get our plate. Just 2 small pieces here. I'm coming, guys. Almost there, kids. Turn the oven off. We've got our spaghetti squash. That extra parsley that we had, that's your garnish. And we're gonna eat. Hit it with a little bit more pepper. Hit a little bit on the spaghetti squash. And what the hell, a little bit of Himalayan salt and we're good. Okay guys, so there we have it. You can recap. We have homemade chicken marsala and spaghetti squash with salt, pepper, garlic salt. Very easy dish. I don't think I'll be doing anything tomorrow because I'll be eating this for the next 2 days. But I probably will do something on Friday, unless I do a little lunch thing tomorrow. We'll see. Even though I did like a stupid little simple grilled cheese just to see everybody's, you know, see everybody's text. So, I hope you guys are doing okay. So like I said, you can recap. We have homemade chicken marsala, spaghetti squash, and then I probably won't be doing anything tomorrow night. I may do something tomorrow for lunch. If not, I will see you guys on Friday. Please be safe. I love you guys very much. Thank you for watching and keeping me entertained. Have a great night. Ciao, ciao.